welcome to another episode of the Quintessential Rebel Podcast. Guess where we are? Can you tell by the ambience? We're in Abu Dhabi, baby. So, what do when you're in Abu Dhabi? You have a podcast, you have interviews. I have some amazing guests that I'm interviewing this afternoon. Wait till you hear the story of the next guest. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Call your girlfriends, your husbands, your wives, your daughters, your sons. Call your friends to call a friend to come and watch this episode. I promise you that you will not leave the same, and I promise you that you will learn one thing or the other before the end of this episode. Don't leave now. All right, so today I have the distinct honor and pleasure of introducing Engineer Babatunde Oladunjoye. I hope I said it right. Who is the Vice President of Farm Synergies Holdings. You are welcome, sir. Welcome to the Quintessential Rebel Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Now, I ask that you speak up. I know you have that voice, that thunderous voice. He's a pastor, so he has that voice. Don't mind him. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, sir.
My name is Tunde. Oladunjoye. I make a change of name sometimes, but that's not the issue. Now, I'm a pastor by calling
Yeah.
and a mechanical engineer by training. Today, I've veered into a lot of things, a chaplain, an environmentalist. But presently, I'm serving as the Vice President of Farm Synergies. And we basically into sustainable agriculture, which deals with the food and the medicinal plants, so that we can take care of our people. The healthy consciousness is now more. And we're
Okay.
looking at how to provide organic food
Okay.
and get your medicine as food and your food as medicine. So we
Ah.
get into plants.
Listen, this is a very interesting topic as a Nigerian. This is a very interesting topic. There are some questions we're going to delve into. But before we do that, how did you, there's so many options out there. What was the determining factor? How did you get into this industry in the first place?
Well, thank you so much. Like I said, I'm a pastor and I believe so much in God instruction.
Okay.
We got this inspiration from the scripture, Psalm 104, verse 14.
Okay.
He says, and God gave grass to the cattle, and he
Okay.
gave herbs for the service of men. So when he said that, we look at it. If God gave us something and we are not utilizing it, that will be the best definition of stupidity.
Okay.
So we got that inspiration from there, using your food as medicine and medicine as food, so that you can service the body obeying the instruction of God.
Okay.
So we came up as partners, three of us, one from dental surgeon area, one from international development trade, and I as also a medicinal expert. So we form a team and come up with farm synergies.
Okay. Well, before we delve into the business aspect of what you do, tell us about I presume you were born and raised in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how it connects to what you currently do.
Thank you. I was born in Ibadan, in Oyo State of Nigeria.
Okay.
I grew up with my partner grandmother.
Okay.
That means I'm a child of an old woman. I grew up with that traditional knowledge,
Yes.
and she taught me a lot about how to take care of yourself, how to utilize things around you,
Okay.
to utilize the nature around you. So,
Yes.
growing up with that knowledge, I ventured into mechanical engineering, and at the end of the day, I was not satisfied. But I found myself back into closing to nature
Okay.
and using nature, that if nature doesn't make it, I will not take it. So,
If nature doesn't make it, you will not take it. Okay.
so that boils down to tell you that the body is from nature. So giving the body something outside the nature might be doing damages to the body. So I believe so much in that, and I began to think, what can I do? And again, God created this body to heal itself, but the body needs nutrients
Yes.
from the nature as well to be able to do that. So that's why we really key into nature and see how we can help the body
Yeah.
to heal it. So it will do that naturally. That's why when you have a cut or a wound, you find out after a while it will come up again.
Yeah.
When you cut your nails after 2 days, it comes again.
Yeah.
That means the body has the ability to heal itself, like the signs of God.
Yeah.
But we are responsible to supply the nutrients. That's why the choice of food, the choice of natural remedies, exercise, and all those things form the basic concept of farm synergies.
You know, studies show that a lot, if not all, the diseases out there as a result of our consumption, what we put into our system, that is toxic, that is full of pesticides, that is also maybe not pushing control. So some have decided to become, we'll eat only plants, we will not eat meat. There are a lot of different diets out there. There are a lot of meats and foods that we eat that are no longer from, nature, that are manufactured. And the more we eat that, the more we see incidences of cancer and other diseases out there. So now, to people who are still, because of their environment where they live. And I'll use myself as an example who lives in the US. The food that we eat, we know now that it's not like what we have back home in terms of how natural it is. Some people don't have a lot of variety or choices. What would you suggest they do in those situations? They don't have access to maybe what they grew up on. So when it comes to food and consumption, what are the options out there?
Well, I think in my slogan, I said, wellness is about education.
Okay.
And education is more important when it comes to wellness than money.
True.
And if people are not educated in the right principle, understanding becomes zero.
Yes.
So now, even if you have very little or limited knowledge or options, there's still a way for you to take care of yourself.
Okay.
And naturally, if you understand what the gene is made of, your DNA, then you know what to put into the system.
Okay.
So a lot of people are not, they are ignorant of this.
Yeah.
That DNA is formed of certain elements, the protein and the vitamins.
Okay.
So most of the food we eat these days, because of population explosion, is born out of need. Like for instance, let me give you the wheat. For instance, wheat in its natural form is just about 3 feet.
Okay.
But when the need of population explosion comes up, scientists now began to look at it. What can we do to meet up with this need?
Yeah.
And they pump up some genetically modified enzymes into the wheat. Now you can see wheat go as fast.
Look at the chicken. Chicken thigh. Is this big? And we know that, back home, like in Nigeria, chicken thigh is little, but everything is.
So when they come up with that, it was to meet a need.
Okay.
But the safety was not considered there.
Okay.
So we can't totally blame them for looking for rapid and growth or expansion or to meet the need of population explosion. But now we are coming back to the security and the safety part of it, which everyone has to be informed about. And we can do, one of our training, we organize something called kitchen herbs.
Okay.
Right in your kitchen, herbs.
Okay.
You can, in your kitchen, you can give us about 10 seeds of different plants that can take care of you. So that you have lavender, you have Californian poppy, you have things that you can plant in your kitchen. A lot of things are in the kitchen today. We use that culinary supports. We don't know that they're actually good for the system. We consume them probably as condiments.
Yeah.
So when people begin to know, they can make choices. They are naturally available.
Naturally available, does it depend on where you are based? Because some of this, what you've mentioned so far, are they naturally available in the US, for example, or are this from other parts of the world?
Yeah, well, no nation is totally independent.
True.
There's always a cross-cultural exchange. Yeah. And God has made it so much that in every plant, we have different properties. Okay. Which if you don't have one here, we can make equivalent. We can find out. So that's why the study of knowing what are in the plants is important. Like for instance, if I want an inflammatory nutrients, if I couldn't have a turmeric here in let's say for instance in Dubai, I can look for ginger because they both have the same properties. And a plant can have different properties, 5, 4. So if I couldn't have one in particular location, I'll look for the alternative. And the inflammatory nutrients and plants are many, over 8,000. So I'm not limited by what is in the location. I can always get alternative that is correlating with what I'm not finding in ginger or turmeric or whatever. So God has made it so much that we need to learn and we need to educate people so that they know that, okay, if I didn't have, for instance, I didn't have bitter leaf in US, what else can I do? Bitter lemon is available also in US. Probably from
same property?
The same properties. They do the same thing.
So I have a question about this, and I'll digress a little bit. Do you think that a lot of the things that we consume, especially in this part of the world, the part of the world that we live in, is financially motivated? And I say this because a lot of the food that is healthy, right, are more expensive. Like if you want to buy anything organic, it's going to cost you more. But the food that is generally served to the that is readily available is cheaper and it comes in higher quantities. And if you look at the pharmaceutical industry, they will rather treat you than cure and prevent. So the emphasis on a lot of times is on treatment, and the treatment is temporary. So a lot of the emphasis in the healthcare system is not based on prevention. And we know, like we say, prevention is better than cure.
Right.
So do you think that the system is built around the commercialization of what we consume, knowing that later on in life, we will need the pharmaceutical industry to treat us temporarily? I don't know if that question makes sense.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, and I want you to understand as economic politics. As that politics in economic system, probably the economists call it capitalism.
Okay.
So people are much concerned about their pocket, not about your welfare.
Yeah.
So they develop their products to meet a certain need that would not always last for a long time.
Yeah.
So they could always come up with new products, trying to treat one to add another problem. So it's natural that the people in commerce or economics want to make gains.
Even at the detriment of health, wellness, life.
So that's why education is important. In wellness. And not only that you need to understand your diet or nutrition, also change of lifestyle. Those are the two key things in wellness. If you can change a little bit of your diet, you can change your lifestyle, then you are on top of getting your wellness right. And because a lot of times, not only the food, but there are other natural things God has given to us, natural remedies that we can really take advantage of. I know a doctor in California who uses purely exercise to treat diabetes. He places you on regimen of exercises, workout, and it's cured diabetes. So it's more of enjoying the nature, also understanding things that are made available for you to take care of yourself. So coming back to the question, the economic gain, the interest of people to put out there products that will give you immediate relief for the long-term problems again, so that you can always roller coaster on treatment. But as it is, we may not be able to beat it for now unless, because the population is on increase, and we need to meet up with the demands of feeding people. So that's why now the campaign for little background or backyard farming is important. People should endeavor to make their own food. And a lot of implements are coming up now. Like we have a what we call a tower garden in the US, where we have gardens. You can produce about 20 types of plants on that tower garden in your own sitting room. So you can make your salad right away from the
Wow.
tower garden.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw one
How
of
do you
those.
sustain that?
Yeah, it uses waterless planting system. I mean soilless planting system.
Okay.
It's like a tower,
Yeah.
and once the root can touch the water, it circulates on a pump. So you can have your cabbage, you can have your lettuce, you can have a fruit. Apart from the root vegetables, every other thing that are not root inclined, you can produce on the tower garden.
So will you say that you've seen a significant difference in those who have benefited from the natural food, anything that comes from nature, and through your company, you've seen significant health and wellness benefits in those who have benefited from that versus those who have relied heavily on the consumption of what is readily available that is killing us on a daily basis?
Yes.
What would you say the difference is?
Yeah, the difference is clear, but it's still little
Okay.
because people are difficult when it comes to change.
True.
The
True.
taste board has been corrupted somehow, and especially the Gen Z generation. You want to give them things that will be beneficial to their system. They won't take it. I have problem with my kids as well, but at least we've been allowing them to know by education. For instance, the statistics on people with diabetics, high blood pressure in the US, wow you when you see the figure. So bringing this to a family table, discussing it with your children, what are the causes of all these issues, health issues, you find out that the children begin to reason with it. My kids now, they know I make blends. I make natural plant blends for people to treat them. Now, my daughter called me from school, Dad, I'm having this sinuses. Can you make some blend for me? Just because I took time to let them know that this thing will only cure the symptoms, but it's not going to take care of the root cause.
There you go. Yes.
So over time, I'm not promising them that the herbs will be spontaneous, will be automatic, but I use them for them to understand it can boost their immune system. Over time, the body will be configured to its natural sense. So now they are coming to understand that. They're calling me, Dad, a friend of mine has constipation. What can you use? As simple as I can get a thyme, infuse it into boiled water. Thyme you use in your kitchen. The thyme and
Did you all know that? This is news to me.
the thyme and curry, they are all great spices for cures. Time as time can your gastrointestinal issues can be taken care of with time.
Listen, I am intrigued by this, okay? Because like I said earlier, I'm in the healthcare industry. And so we see cases all the time and of different illnesses, diseases, and it's like a revolving door. You give medication prescribed by the doctor that you know it's not going to cure. I mean, we know that. It's going to treat, and heavens help them because they might be back again for more treatments. And like I said, the emphasis is on treatment that is short term, and the emphasis is not on empowering our people to say, hey, do you understand that God has created natural remedies for everything on planet Earth?
He gave us the apps.
Yes.
I quote the scripture now.
Yes.
He gave us the apps for the service of men. So that means from your brain down to your feet, God has plans that takes care of them. Can I tell you, mushrooms will take care of your brain, cognitive memory.
Wow.
Lemon,
the mushroom
lion's
powder,
mane.
fresh mushroom.
Lion's mane takes care of you. As simple as rosemary is.
Yes.
When people are getting to age 70, I am designing a formula now to give them for prevention against that dementia. I infuse rosemary into olive oil for about 14 days. It comes a kind of solution now. Then you can take a teaspoon in the morning,
Every day.
Every day.
And
if
it
you're for
reverses.
70, it will reverse. It will not allow it to grow. Dementia or schizophrenia. So a lot of things. For me, I stopped using aspirin about 10 years ago. I was about 43.
I just had one this morning.
So, I stopped using low-dose aspirin because of what I discovered, that the long-term use of aspirin will go into neurodegenerative diseases. So what is the equivalent for me to take? I don't want to leave myself loose. Found out that there's capsaicin in what we call cayenne pepper.
Okay.
Cayenne pepper has the major ingredient called capsaicin. What is in your spirit is capsaicin. So now I roll my cayenne pepper into capsules, and as a regimen for me, I take one every morning, taking care of my cardiovascular, the blood stimulant. What's aspirin doing just to prevent clotting, blood clotting? Is a thinner.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with cayenne pepper, the atashombo Yoruba land.
I'm just going to take a moment to just breathe for a minute.
Yeah.
See, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power. And, you know, there's an adage that says what you don't know won't kill you. It's the reverse.
It's reverse.
What you don't know can actually kill you.
Damage.
Even the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And it's the knowledge, the education, the enlightenment that is missing from our conversations. So a lot of people, a lot of us, most of us are not empowered with this type of information. And if we're not empowered, then we do whatever. And the goal of Quintessential Rebel Podcast is to disrupt the status quo.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information and misinformation out there, and our goal is to be able to decipher, And so bringing people like you on the show to talk to us about the needful, to talk to us about things that a lot of us don't have no knowledge about is truly very important. But there's a question that comes to my mind. A lot of times we're told that some things are not reversible.
Okay.
For example, we've heard cases of maybe few individuals who have been cancer-free after being diagnosed with cancer, and they go through treatment and then they're cancer-free for many years and all of that. But I want to talk about the role of the church because you're a pastor, sir. I want to talk about the role of the church because the church is a platform that can also provide adequate information for the people. And a lot of times we see people, Christians who are sick, that will run to the church instead of go to the hospital. Because the pastor said, with God, yes, I am a Christian, I believe with God all things are possible. And through prayer, a lot of things God can answer our prayers. But we've lost people who decided that they go carry God for head. Any little thing, you run to church, you pray about it, instead of empowering yourself with the knowledge, seeking medical attention. So I want you to, I know there's an intersection between religion and health and all of that. So let's address that. How do you differentiate between when is the right time to seek medical treatment versus when is to call on God as a Christian, as an African, and all of that? How do you tell when to do which activity? Medical attention versus prayers.
Thank you so much. You see, one of the things that we set out in Farm Synergy to do is to educate.
Yeah.
And I found out that a lot of us are being crippled
Yes.
by the westernization, traditional understanding, and the religious issues. But this same God, who has been a very faithful Father, gave us all matters that pertain to life and godliness. Balance. Number two, every teaching had been taken from the Bible so that people will not continue to believe in demonization of plants and natural remedies. So I purposely went to this career about 5 years ago to learn about plants, the taxonomy, the properties. I prepare a lot of products so that in my city in Houston, people are beginning to embrace it because they thought, it's becoming an Harvard. Cannabis is
Okay.
different from a
Okay.
sorcerer.
Okay.
Every medication you see today, they
Yeah.
took their root from plants. So, if people are not well grounded as a pastor, it's a major problem. And that's why they've misled people into that gullibility when they need to attend a medical test or procedure, they give in to spill and sleep in the church.
Yep.
God is not foolish.
God is not foolish.
It's never. So now, what we need to do is to let our people know that God gave medical science even 100 years ahead of conventional medicine. Leviticus chapter 11 will tell you food not to eat. The Bible.
Leviticus
Chapter 11.
Okay.
It will tell you all the foods to avoid.
Yeah.
Hallelujah diet picked its inspiration from that
Which
scripture.
one is Hallelujah
Hallelujah
diet?
diet. A lot of ladies go on an Hallelujah diet to take care of cancer and so many things.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that religion is a problem. It's an opium which everyone must separate yourself from. Again, Christ has two views: the principle of Christ and the personality of Christ.
Okay.
If you as a
Explain
believer,
both.
if you don't balance the two,
Yeah.
you will suffer at one hand. Let me give you for example. Some of us in Africa, we believe in the personality of Christ, but we don't follow the principles.
Okay. Okay.
The China, the Asians who are doing well economically, they believe in the principle. They may not believe in the personality. The principle of Christ is what is all these inventions is a principle of Christ. But we are so gullible that we key only to the personality of Christ. Want to live a holy life. Keep people in the church from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Without doing anything.
Yeah.
But Christ didn't say we should not go and explore.
Yeah.
So he gave ideas for witty invention. These are all scriptures. So the demarcation between when to take cue in the medical attention or to give in for prayer is a thin line. We have to combine. Balance is life. You must balance everything.
Yes.
Excessive of protein in your body will cause problem.
True.
Shortage of it will cause problem. So the same thing, if you pray and pray and pray and pray, that will not stop the problem in your system.
Even the Bible says faith without works is dead. So you cannot just have faith and not apply the work. And the work is seeking the medical attention. The work is empowering yourself with knowledge and information. The work is also not just dieting, but also exercising, maintain. So there's a lot that has to go in for the faith to work. But a lot of times we just look at the faith aspect and we leave out the works and we say, well, God did not answer our prayers. For example, if you're trusting God to bless you financially, but you're sitting at home and not working, you're sitting at home and not going out to turn in your applications, or God is not just going to fall from the sky and answer such questions. So it's the application of the works. It's the putting in the work that God is going to bless alongside faith. And that needs to be emphasized in a church setting.
Yeah, I developed about 8 protocols when it comes to wellness. And you find out at the end of the day, I call it distress. The first one is diet.
Okay.
Pick your food. Select what is good for your body. You must know.
Yeah.
Then 2, the second one is exercise, the E. You have to. Inability for the body to move every day is a problem that can generate death. There are 2 circulations in the body, the blood circulation and the lymphatic circulation. That's why when you do exercise, you want to move all this. So the third one is stress management.
Yes, that's a big one.
It's the second killer agent in the world.
Yes.
Stress management.
Yes.
Whatever you cannot do, leave it for. Some people are telling me I spend 22 hours in a day. You are killing yourself. By the time you are 60, you're going to see the repulsive effect. I'm working for 22 hours in a day. No, lions as giant as it works only for 4 hours in a day with tactics, with alertness. So that is the diet, the exercise, the stress management. T, the toxin removal. You can't be removing toxin and be feeding on poison. Some of us, we are doing detoxification every day. We are eating poison. So toxin removal is important in this, wellness protocol.
Yeah.
Then again, I come to distress. R, that is rest.
That's an important one.
6 to 7
Rest.
hours of rest
Yeah.
will help you. God knew why He kept Adam to sleep, because rejuvenation will come only in sleeping. So if you don't have adequate sleeping, you will not allow your body to rejuvenate well. Rest is important. Then emotional balance. That's the fourth, that the sixth key. Emotional balance is important.
Yeah.
Everybody will pass through something in life. That's why I said, leave it, cast your burden onto me. You can't be a hero when God is around you. So leave something at his feet and go and sleep.
Yeah.
Then finally, we talk about supplements. As we age, some of our hormones are coming down. So we need to supplement it.
Okay.
You're a woman, for instance, you know what it means when your estrogen is going down.
Yeah.
You need to boost your progesterone to police the estrogen.
Yeah.
So that's why supplement comes in, all this about supplement or whatever medical supplement. So it can help us. And finally, talk about Thanksgiving.
About what?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Being
grateful.
grateful,
to God.
being
Okay.
grateful.
Yes.
Because when you are grateful, when you are happy, you develop some hormones that we call dopamine, and they help your organs.
Yeah.
But if you're always cringy, unhappy, you raise adrenaline, your cortisol, and they are dangerous to your organs. So I call those eight protocols, and you find out that God has balanced everything.
Yeah.
Unless you are not informed about it.
Whew. I hope you've learned as much as I have. One last question, Sister. For those who are for those who have given up, for those who maybe have tried the herb supplements, maybe not the type that your company makes and offers, but they have tried everything and nothing has worked. Whether it's prayer, healthy living, healthy lifestyle, everything you can imagine. There are people out there who will tell you that they have tried and tested everything and there is no hope. What is your hope to the world? What is your hope to those, or for those who are in those positions?
Well, I think one of the things that I've read about when we come to genetics, because that's the area where people think it is irreversible when something is genetically inclined.
Yes.
Your mold, your makeup that you bring from your parents. Genetics has informed us that it takes only 25% of your genes to be uncontrollable. The remaining 75%, you can do something about it.
You have control over that.
Yeah. So, gene is like a loaded gun.
Okay.
But your diet and your lifestyle can pull the trigger.
Okay.
I found out that my dad has a particular ailment.
Okay.
And I carry his gene.
Yeah.
I found out that I took a study on that ailment. And I began to look at what are the food treatments for that ailment, what are the natural treatments for that ailment, what are the things I need to avoid so that when I get to the age of 84, my dad is 85 now, I won't be infected by the same problem. I have this gene. I can keep that gene under by the food that I eat and by the way that I live my life.
Okay.
So it could be hopeless, let's say about 25% gene issue, but the remaining 75%, they are your diet and lifestyle choices. So, but those who are already at the wall, I can always encourage them. Just hope in God, because He could do anything. He created us. He knows all the organs in the body. If He chooses to save your life, He will do. And if He chose for you to go, be it. But the truth is that our life is based on impact. So even if you are at the point of hopelessness now, begin to do something that can still impact humanity. And God can use that. Let me give you as a close-up the story of John D. Rockefeller at age 43. He was so sick. And then he was the richest man in the world. He was so sick that even in his sick bed, he was thinking of money, money. And he couldn't eat more than just a cracker and two spoons of soup every day. It was the chronic disease. Every doctor in the world, the best ones that treated him, they couldn't. Then a friend came to him, said, John, so what are you thinking about? I said, I'm still thinking about making more money, making more money. Then the friend advised him, he said, why not think about impacting people? Why not think of, even if you're going to die tomorrow, why not think of blessing others? You have so much money. And he yielded to the advice.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, let's set up a Rockefeller Foundation. This is a life story.
That was how that came
It
about.
came up,
The
and
foundation.
in the next 5 years, he pumped about 550 million on different researches, John Hopkins, health issues, development, all over all the
Yeah.
industries. Do you know they gave him 6 months to die at age 45? When he lives up to that.
Wow.
It's a story you can
As
find
a result
of
of
charity,
changing his
changing the
mindset
mindset,
and then going from
self
to community to others.
to others.
Wow.
He lived in 93. Really, it's a common story. You can see how he changed that situation. Hopeless
Yes.
situation.
Yeah.
Best doctors have treated him.
Yeah.
They've given him 6 months maximum to live. But after that, he lived for another 3 years.
Wow. That's powerful.
So we can change a lot of things by just being selfless.
Yes.
We can change a lot
I
of
agree.
things by just thinking of others. Change a lot of things just being conscious of what you have attained. Some people still need to benefit from
Yeah.
it. But he could have died thinking and still need to make more money,
Yeah.
more money. And still today, the legacy is still living.
And I believe, I may be wrong, but
Yeah.
this is my belief. I believe that there is an additional grace that God bestows on those who are out there, not just living a selfish lifestyle. It's not that it's selfish to not be involved in the community. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that there is a grace and a strength that comes on those who are out there impacting people because you need it.
Yeah.
You need it to be able to sustain what you do. And so life is not all about me, myself, and I. It's about what legacy are you leaving behind? What impact have you made? Not just in the life of the family, but in the life of the community. That's what you'll be remembered by. You just, gave us an example. When we look at, Martin Luther King, why do we still talk about him today? It's because of the legacy, the impact that he made, the transformative actions that he took when he was alive
Yeah.
to make a difference, right? And that is why we still talk about the life and legacy of not just Dr. Martin Luther King, but of so many others. And you are doing the same, sir, with your company, with the empowerment, with the education, with everything that you bring to the table. We're grateful to you for spending time with us here at the podcast. And I want to believe that a lot of people will watch this and learn a thing or two like I did today. Until next time, everyone, this is Oreme Karim, your quintessential rebel podcast host. Join us again. Take care, everyone.